Hello. I've got these droopy sleeves and they keep on catching on my chair. Anyway, welcome. Welcome. This is day 21. And today we're going to be talking about gratitude. Yes, everybody knows about gratitude. You've heard it a million times. And, you're always thinking, I got to be more grateful, right? But today I want to actually go over a study that was done, a mental health study. And it's a few years old. When it first came out, I grabbed it and I took it out of the archives because that's what came to me today about discussing our happiness and our love and feeling loved and feeling favored and then putting that out into the world, right? We want to be authentic and genuine about what we put out into the world. And sometimes authentic and genuine means negativity. Well, I'm just saying it how it is, Uh, you know what? Stuff it. Stuff it. If you're negative, the world doesn't need any more negativity. All right. So just saying. Anyway, I want to go over this study that was done because I think it really helps to solidify any beliefs that you have about gratitude. And it gives you an idea of how you can express gratitude in a very real and functional way, in a very life shifting kind of way. And this study proves it. Okay. And if you have any doubts about the effects and the power of gratitude, I believe today is going to help you a lot. So if you're watching the replay, welcome, welcome. Hit hashtag replay so I can send you some love, and I receive love back from you every time that you watch the replay. All right, excuse me right there. Okay, so who's on today? Hang on 1 minute. Got a problem here. There we go. Okay. So who's on today? Please let me know so I can welcome you. And I want to know how things are going so far. Are you feeling any shifts? Any internal changes happening? And we'll start in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Today, again, I just mentioned we're going to be talking about the power of gratitude. And I have this amazing study, a research project that was done with some really great data on the power of gratitude to help you in case you are not fully convinced that gratitude is powerful, life shifting, and can change everything for you. So I posted on Facebook a song. It's a video clip from the movie Joyful Noise. And I don't know why that came to me this morning, but sometimes just come out of the recesses of your brain and all of a sudden you remember something. And so I went to look it up, and it's the Higher, Take Me Higher medley. And it's a number of songs put together. And I realized that's my song for 2023. Take me higher, take me higher. I want to go higher. I want to elevate. I want to go higher into all the things that God has for me, into his plans, into making a difference. I want to go higher. Who wants to go higher? I would say go to my profile page and click on that link, or go to YouTube and just type in Higher Medley Joyful Noise, and you will get that, right? And listen to the words. It's really great. So I'm not seeing, hi, Jen, it's good to see you. Yeah. So you want to go higher. Is that what you're telling me, Jen? You want to go higher, right? Mm-hmm. I believe that many people are kind of in a funk. There's a lot of people in a funk right now. And they're looking for the new year as something that's going to deliver them out of their funk. Like something's magically going to change. And the world doesn't change overnight just on December 31st. It doesn't. But we can change. We can change if we can set the intention of going higher. And what are some ways that we can go higher? Higher in the Lord, deeper in the Lord, expand expand our horizons, expand what it is that we're here to do, have a more joyful energy about us, right? Energetic shifts are welcome. Hey, Kathy, higher sounds good. Awesome. Yeah. I believe one of the things that cause us to go higher, well, first of all, music and dancing. Music and dancing, if you don't dance when you're listening to that song, well, I don't know what to tell you. You know, I can't help it. But I think that what we're going to be talking about today, gratitude can take us higher. Wherever we're at right now, gratitude can take us higher. All right, so today I wanted to talk about this study that was done, I believe, at Berkeley. And what they did was, the study's probably, a few years old. I remember when it first came out, I loved it because it solidifies, the word says that be grateful in all things, that when you pray, bring your requests to God and give thanks in all things. So, Jesus has been talking about being grateful for ever since he arrived on the scene, right? Gratitude is key to our happiness. It's key to our happiness, right? But a lot of times we put gratitude in the I should be grateful. Or we think, you know what, I have so much to be thankful for, but, right? And that kind of negates whatever it is you think you should be grateful for. So there's an activity in here that is so cool that I love to know what you guys think about this. But here's the study. This was involving about 300 adults. A lot of research has been done on gratitude as it relates to people who are already in a high functioning mental state, right? But they wondered, does gratitude make a difference in people who are struggling with mental health? Hey, Neil, good to see you. Does gratitude help with people who are struggling with mental health, specifically anxiety and depression? Now, it's an interesting thing because I work with a lot of high achievers, people who want to make a big difference in the world and make a big impact. But many of them do struggle with anxiety and depression. It doesn't often stop them from doing the things that they think they should be doing and want to do in the world, but it can make life a struggle. It can make life a struggle. So, when we talk about this particular activity, all right, I want you to be thinking in terms of where you are right now in your mental state, your mental health, as far as depression goes, anxiety. I'm generally a joyful person. I'm generally very happy. And I can't say I used to be very good, happy go lucky. I'm not as happy go lucky as I used to be, though I'm getting more so. It's funny how that happens. But I really appreciated this study because as I started to do it, I noticed a difference for my own life. And as I've had clients do it, I saw how they shifted as well. So what they did was they took three groups. There were 300 adults. They took three groups. One group, they gave the instruction to write a letter of gratitude to someone every week. For 3 weeks, they had to write, well, I don't know if it was, hang on one second. Yes, they wrote a letter of gratitude to another person every week for 3 weeks. Now, that's only 3 letters. There's only 3 letters. The second group, they asked them to journal about their deepest thoughts and feelings about their negative experiences. Okay. Now, sometimes what I have my clients do is if they're stuck in negativity, excuse me a minute. If they're stuck in negativity, I will have them journal all of that and take that to God. They're negative, but we don't end there. We want that to get out of our system. Sometimes when I do tapping, it is bringing out the negativity, but we don't stop there. We're just trying to get that out of the body, but then we flush back in, infuse back in truth and positivity. They had this group only write about their deepest thoughts and negative experiences. And the third group didn't do any writing activity at all. Okay? Now, all of them were in counseling. All right. So they wanted to see if the gratitude exercises or the negative journaling exercises or no writing at all was going to make a difference in their counseling experiences. Okay. So this is what they found. Those who wrote the gratitude letters reported significantly better, and they had a test that they gave them as well. So they reported significantly better mental health 4 weeks up to 12 weeks, 3 months after the writing exercise ended. All right. The people that just wrote their negative feelings did not benefit at all. All right, they had no basic change to their mental health, and neither did the ones that received counseling alone with no gratitude exercise. So then they wanted to know, all right, how does this actually affect our minds? How does it actually affect our brains and our bodies? All right, so they came up with 4 different ways. The first way is that gratitude unshackled these people and unshackles us from toxic emotions. Think about that a minute. Gratitude unshackles us from toxic emotions. Okay? And those in the gratitude writing group, they used a higher percentage of positive emotion words and we words. Now, when you're writing a letter of gratitude to somebody and you use the word we, do you know what's happening? You are making connection. And this is what our hearts are craving, connection. All right. Love is a connecting feeling. When you feel connected to somebody, it causes you to feel more loved and favored by that person. So somebody was asking yesterday, how do we feel more favored? How do we even feel more loved? Well, one way is gratitude. And it's gratitude that you're writing to someone else. All right. So they found that in the letters of gratitude, there were a higher percentage of positive emotions and we words, and a lower proportion of negative emotion words than those that were in the other writing group. Well, it makes sense because the instruction was write about your deepest thoughts and feelings related to negative experiences. All right. So, of course, that would happen. And it wasn't, this is another thing that's interesting. It wasn't that they used more positive words that made the greater impact on their mental health. It was the lack of negative emotion words. All right. So when they were writing these letters of gratitude, they actually weren't as focused on the negativity. So they did not have many negative emotional words coming out. It was mostly positive emotional words. And that's what they realized was the difference. When you write how grateful you are to others and how much other people have blessed your life, it might become considerably harder for you to ruminate on your negative emotions. So there's more to this, but I just want to present right now. Who thinks that right now, when I'm talking about this, is there a person in your life that you would love to write a letter of gratitude to? I would challenge you, like before the year is out, maybe you want to write that to yourself. Maybe you want to write that to God, right? But there is something that happens within us. There's something very elevating and expanding when we write a letter of gratitude to someone, to someone. It doesn't even mean who it is, to someone, right? Okay. Number 2, this was interesting. Gratitude helps even if you don't share it. Gratitude helps even if you don't share it. So the first benefit was it releases you and unshackles you from toxic emotions. Number 2, it helps even if you don't share it. So they say only 23% of those who wrote the gratitude letters actually sent them. The rest, the majority of people did not send the letters. So whether you send them or not send them had nothing to do on the increase, the elevation in your mental health. All right? I thought that was very interesting too. Those who didn't send their letters enjoyed the benefits of experiencing gratitude nonetheless. Your benefits of writing gratitude letters are not entirely dependent on actually communicating that gratitude to the other person. Interesting, right? So if you're thinking of writing a letter of gratitude to someone, but you're unsure whether you want that person to read the letter, we encourage you to write it anyway. You can decide later if you want to write it or not. Okay? They think in the research project, they thought it's a good idea to do so, but it's the mere act of writing the letter that can help you expand, elevate, and feel happier. Okay? Number 3, gratitude benefits take time. So, and they're trying to encourage you here that if you write this letter and you don't see immediate shifts, just know that it will happen. It will happen. And so this was something that was astounding to them. After the 3 weeks, all right, now they took a test. Everybody took a test and their mental health was much better. Their anxiety levels were lower, their depression was lower, their happiness level had increased after 3 weeks of doing this. But very interesting, 4 weeks later, it was even higher. They were even higher. And there was even a greater difference 12 weeks after the writing exercise. 12 weeks. So after 3 weeks, the activity ended 3 weeks, but it had up to 3 months of benefits. They stayed elevated and increased their mental health for at least, now it could have been longer, but that's as long as they went on the study. They went 3 months out and they found that the increase was even greater. Number 4, gratitude has lasting effects on the brain. And I found this to be very, very interesting. They use a fMRI scanner attached to the brain to measure brain activity, all right? And you can't fake that. That's not subjective. That's actually seeing the activity that's going on in the brain. So the activity was for each group to do a pay it forward task. So in that task, the individuals were regularly given a small amount of money by a nice person called the benefactor. Okay? This benefactor only asks that they pass the money on to someone if they felt grateful. Okay? Our participants then decided how much of the money, if any, to pass on to a worthy cause. And we did, in fact, donate that money to a local charity. So it wasn't just a pretend thing, all right? They said, we wanted to distinguish, now this is interesting too, we wanted to distinguish donations motivated by gratitude from donations driven by other motivations like guilt or obligation. All right. So obviously, they're pointing out you can donate money because you are really grateful and you want to pass it on, or because you feel guilty and obligated. All right. So we asked the participants to rate how grateful they felt toward the benefactor and how much they wanted to help each charitable cause, as well as how guilty they would feel if they didn't help. It's really amazing to me. Over and over again, I see how many people, and I was like this too, and I'm so grateful I'm freed from this, but how many people do things they really don't want to do and feel like they have to do because they can't stand the guilt that they think they'll feel if they don't do that activity. A lot of times when we're motivated by guilt and pressure, we are actually putting a negative energy into the world rather than a positive one. So think about that a bit. We found that across the participants, when people felt more grateful, their brain activity was distinct from brain activity related to guilt and the desire to help a cause. More specifically, we found that when people who are generally more grateful gave more money to a cause, they showed greater neural sensitivity in the medial prefrontal cortex, a brain area associated with learning and decision making. So if you have more brain activity in the prefrontal cortex, which affects learning and decision making, all right, you're going to learn faster and better, and you're going to have greater decision making capabilities, right? So gratitude helps learning and decision making. I think that's pretty amazing. This suggests that people who are more grateful are more attentive to how they express gratitude. More interestingly, when we compared those who wrote the gratitude letters with those who didn't, the gratitude letter writers showed greater activation in the medieval prefrontal cortex when they experienced gratitude in the fMRI scanner. This is striking, as this effect was found 3 months after the letter writing began. So, this indicates that simply expressing gratitude may have lasting effects on the brain. Such a simple thing. It really shows you about our focus and how what we're focusing on can actually determine our mental health. Mm-hmm. Oh, wrong way. Now, I'm not saying you should write gratitude letters instead of going for counseling, okay? But they do know that the letter writing actually enhanced the counseling, where the letter writing of the negative or no activity, whatever, it didn't really change a whole lot. Regardless of whether you're facing serious psychological challenges, if you have never written a gratitude letter before, we encourage you to try it. Much of our time and energy is spent pursuing things we currently don't have. Gratitude reverses our priorities to help us appreciate the people and the things we do. Isn't that good? I love that. Jen, thank you for your comment. I like to write a gratitude statement on the top of my to-do list. It reminds me how grateful I am to be able to do my to-dos. That's awesome. Yeah. You know, when gratitude is a genuine heartfelt activity, okay? Things can shift. Benefits can come to you. Open the door to receiving. You open the door to receiving. You know, I've told you many times about my massive meltdown after Jean was diagnosed with cancer. I was broiling. I was simmering and then broiling for months prior to that. Months. And it was only the cancer. The cancer was only a catalyst. A catalyst caused me to explode. A catalyst that caused me to have the meltdown, right? And when God said to me the next morning after my meltdown, get back to love, Marianne, he showed me that the way to do that was to get into gratitude, was to recall, to refocus all the times that I and God had done things together, had achieved things, had gotten over a hump, had things that had come to us, had come to me, things that He had just done for me. You know what? I'm turning this off because this is too bright. I don't like this light. Here. All right. So anyway, I really think that, and what happened after that? I went out. I went from this funk, this terrible funk, into this feeling of just sheer happiness and joy, sheer happiness and joy. And because of that, and I do believe it's because of that, the portals of abundance opened. And the things that I was stressing about, which was primarily money and how am I going to earn any money when I want to take care of my husband, okay? Yes, that was my primary concern. It opened the door of abundance. And I'm telling you, finances flooded in. And it started with gratitude, getting back to love and through the power of gratitude. So I suggest to you that going into 2023, if you want to go higher, if you want to be taken higher, that's where I'm going. All right. This is my whole focus for the year I'm going to be taken higher. I'm going to dig into higher. This is just my focus. And gratitude is going to be a huge part of it. If any of you want to join me, please let me know. All right? Because I know that this is where God has taken me, and anybody else who wants to go higher, okay? We're going to do it in love. We're going to do it in gratitude. We're going to do it through whatever means. Whatever means comes to us because there's a million of them. All right. So, any comments for today? Got about 5 more minutes. What do you think? What do you think? And so I'm grateful for you all to be standing here with me for this month and showing me your love. I'm grateful for you. Mm, you're welcome. Oh, good to see you, Sarah. I'm glad you joined also. Yes. Hi, Kim. Good to see you. Yes. The last 2 years have felt like a wait. Oh, for sure. That's right. We have got to elevate it out of this corporate funk that this world is in. When I have an attitude of gratitude, the days go better. And it's just such a simple thing, isn't it? There's a part of me, I get ideas sometimes, and sometimes I act on them, sometimes I don't. I don't know if I'll act on this one or not. But there is a part of me that would love to have a group that we can just focus on gratitude, happiness, love, sharing stories about how we're doing that, what's working for us, right? Because I think that we need each other. The world is a negative place. It is. It's a negative place, but it's not all negative. It's just negative if we focus on negative, right? It's negative if we focus on negative. Neil says, I find it easier to express gratitude when I'm outside and seeing all the lovely things I encounter. Yeah, definitely nature can do that for you, can't it? And I know, Neil, you love to go on nature walks and you have some beautiful experiences that way. And you're always so um, generous in sharing them. Yeah. Kim says, absolutely. To what are you referring? I think sometimes I say things back here and then you guys respond at this point because there is a lag and a delay. So I'm not quite sure what you're referring to sometimes. Sarah says, what we focus on will grow. When we focus on the positive, it will become more obvious to us. Absolutely. One of the things the study was pointing out too, and I just want to reiterate this, is that they were saying that the letters of gratitude, the difference it made in the mental health wasn't that the writer was using an abundance of positive words or expressing a positive emotion. That was helpful, definitely helpful, but it was shifting the focus away from the negative. So much of mental health issues are related to seeing life negatively. Okay? Seeing life negatively. A group of gratitude. Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, well, I'll keep that in mind. Let me see what kind of interest we have in that, But I think of starting off the beginning of 2023 and a letter writing activity like this would be so, so fun. Yeah, it'd be very elevating. Hmm. Well, listen, um, I don't know what I'm talking about tomorrow. I never know from day to day, to tell you the truth. So thank you for showing up when you do. You guys are precious to me. And if I start a group, I will let you know. All right. But blessings to you. You would love a love group and a letter writing challenge. Oh, I like that too. Thanks, Sarah. Beautiful. All right, people. We'll talk tomorrow. And I apologize yesterday too for the replay. For some reason, it just kept on recording, and I know you couldn't get on and do the replays. Kim, thank you for pointing that out for me. Yeah. And you love you and my energy. Thank you. Thank you. Same to you, honey. All right. Thank you, Neil, for coming. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.